How does Mr. Bean live now? Is Mr. Bean simply a man with a childlike mind, or some bizarre alien sent to planet Earth in an attempt to fit in?
My name is Zack.
Failing miserably. Who is he really? Hey guys, welcome back to Top Quick Peek. Mr. Bean. What can we say? Following in the steps of the immortal Charlie Chaplin, true physical comedy requires no dialogue. There's something so simple about using vocal silence, exaggerated movement, and unfortunate circumstance to create such a widely beloved character that transcends language and cultural barriers. He was created just to make people laugh. The character of Mr. Bean is played by Rowan Atkinson. He started his career on the small screen in the satirical sketch show Not the 9 O'Clock News, which was shown as a political comedy to parody the 9 o'clock news on the BBC.
They may seem extraordinary to you.
It was a spoof format featuring short tongue-in-cheek scenes about the news of the day. He's also known for playing Blackadder, a very droll, sarcastic creation, brilliant in his own right for delivering venomous and acidic dialogue in line with that dry British sense of humor.
I could crack another joke there, but I can't think of one.
Whether you know Atkinson's earlier works or not, there is no doubt that everyone has seen Mr. Bean. He brought a smile to our faces with that olive green suit, crimson tie, and eyebrows wiggling around his face like a pair of hairy caterpillars. Strangely enough, the character was born due to Atkinson's speech impairment, heavy stammering and stuttering. He would pronounce sounds in an odd way and screw up his face. When he saw himself do it in the mirror, he knew that his highly unusual and emotive facial expressions were his ticket to the big time. Mr. Bean was actually dubbed Mr. Cauliflower up until the very last minute, which just doesn't have the same ring to it. This show only consisted of 15 episodes, a fact that seems truly unbelievable given Mr. Bean's widespread popularity and adoration. The Mandela effect is in full swing. Surely we can't be remembering this correctly. Did we watch the same episodes over and over thinking they were new ones? Bean featured on the big screen in feature films twice and was arguably some of Atkinson's best work. If you didn't know the famous painting Whistler's mother before seeing Bean the movie, then Atkinson's horrific resketch of her face meant you certainly knew what it was after. We always thought it looked a little like Monty Burns from The Simpsons. Later on, Atkinson brought us Johnny English, a bumbling spy who was all sizzle and no steak, a direct opposite of the ultra-suave James Bond. Think Mr. Bean if you were able to become an MI7 agent, doing the limbo in a speeding wheelchair doing a high-speed chase. Genius. But what about the man behind the man, the Atkinson behind the Bean? Atkinson actually went to school with the British ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair. The school's former headmaster, Canon John Grove, said the two were polar opposites. Atkinson was quiet, kept to himself, and had the nickname Weirdo. Blair was an outgoing model pupil who volunteered for everything. Rowan studied electrical engineering at Newcastle University, obtaining his master's degree from the Queen's College, Oxford. Now that's one smart cookie. Turns out that a life of fame and fortune playing some of the best-loved roles on television has its quirks, definite upsides. The man absolutely adores cars, an expensive hobby but one easily supported by his commercial successes. He has a definite love for supercars and has a serious collection of stallions in his home stable. Perhaps the car he is most famous for is his 1997 McLaren F1, which is capable of reaching a face-meltingly quick speed of 240 miles per hour, a Guinness World Record at the time for fastest production car. After a few minor bumps and bruises, and being broken a few times, this poor McLaren's life came to an abrupt end. After a strained relationship, Atkinson had an accident where he spun out onto a roadside hedge. In a landmark claim, he sought a reimbursement payout of £910,000 British pounds from the insurance company, the largest compensation amount at the time. The insurance company had the last laugh, however, when it was sold at auction to an anonymous party for $12 million. Now that's what we call a superfan. Not content with destroying just one beautiful sports car, he was also responsible for wrecking an Aston Martin Zagato during an owner's event at the Croft Racing Circuit. In true Johnny English style, he was left shaken and not stirred, walking away unscathed from the crash. This one wasn't his fault, however, as a brake failure gave him only one option, slamming straight into a barrier. For a celebrity with a penchant for the racetrack, there is no greater honor than appearing on Top Gear for a lap in their reasonably priced car. To Jeremy Clarkson's amazement,
There we go.
Atkinson guided the horrifically slow Kia Ceed around the track in a blisteringly quick record time. Well, relatively speaking.
One. Good.
His record stood for a whole year until American actor Matt LeBlanc, affectionately known as Joey from the hit sitcom Friends, pipped him at the post, setting a time just 1 millisecond faster. Bizarrely, he has even had to take control of a Cessna light aircraft and set it down safely during a flight on a family holiday to Kenya. The pilot had passed out, leaving the actor to take charge and guide his wife and 2 young children to safety. Is there anything Mr. Bean can't do? There's no doubt that Atkinson has some real skills behind the wheel. It almost makes the now infamous lounge chair scene even more believable. Could he actually pull off his own stunts? We'd pay good money to see him hurtling around the racetrack on top of a green Mini, controlling the speeding car with nothing but his wits and a mop. He doesn't just like going fast either. Bizarrely, Atkinson also holds a heavy vehicle license. There's just something about driving trucks he loves. His dream was to operate a transport and logistics company to fall back on if acting didn't pan out for him. Maybe Rowan Atkinson is actually the real Mr. Bean, and what we see in his everyday life is the act. Either way, he is a man who is as complex as he is hilarious. And that just about wraps things up for today. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you had fun, why not give us a like and hit that subscribe button while you're down there. Let us know in the comments if there's any other Mr. Bean trivia that we missed out. You've been watching Top Quick Peek. We'll see you next time.